Hello and welcome to Goddess Resurrection. My name is Britta and I am your host. And today's episode is on Divine Feminine chooses herself first in love. And choosing yourself in love is going to also teach you to choose yourself in all the other areas of your life. And if you're right now thinking, love, who cares? I don't need a man. No, 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 no. That's you being in the masculine energy. And let me remind you, you are love. You already are love. And this ascension and this journey into new earth manifestation is about you being love and opening your heart. What does it mean to open your heart? That's how you connect into the new earth grid. Yes. Remember that it's all about the heart. It's all about the love. It's all about you being that embodiment as you ascend, as you shift onto higher timelines. And so that's what we will be diving into today. What does it look like? I'm going to give examples as to how you can really connect to this to much deeper levels. Good. Hello, my gorgeous. How are you? It's so nice to connect in this way, this, one-on-one. And don't get me wrong, I love the sharing with these conversations with the sisters, and there will be more of them coming. But it's very nice. It's very nice to just be here with you. Yay! So let's dive right in, shall we? Go ahead and focus onto your breath. Let's meet in the breath. Eyes open. Focus onto the breath. Conscious in and exhales. You are the one in, you are the one exhaling. We're adjusting the breath to the doing, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing. Be in the breath. You're the one in and you're the one exhaling. Because this is, of course, the foundation to you choosing yourself. You choosing yourself means you're in your feminine energy. But before we dive in, let me just mention this moon. This full moon this weekend on February 1st. It's a full moon in Leo. And this is a part of the reason as to this subject as well, because this full moon in Leo is all about you choosing yourself, you choosing your authenticity, you choosing the path that is authentic to yourself, not pretending, not wearing masks, not pleasing others any longer, but truly and authentically following your heart, following your guidance, following what you know in your gut, in your deep wisdom, what you are here to do, what you want to experience, how you want to go about your life, wherever it hits for you. This moon is the final shedding of the year of the snake. Yes. And I looked this up. I didn't know this, that the snake, when it sheds its skin, it takes quite some time. But I didn't realize that the snake, when it sheds the skin toward the end, as we are now, this is the last moon of the year of the snake, the end parts of the snake's skin are actually apparently like deep in the body, like they're hooked in, they're really entangled in there in the organs and the muscles. And apparently it's painful. It's actually painful for the snake to shed these last parts, these last bits and pieces that are in really deep. And that's exactly what we're going through. Purging is at an all-time high. Whatever isn't serving your soul, whatever is not to your highest timeline in light, whatever is not authentically the correct thing for you has to go. It's time. Let it go. Keep shedding. Breathe and feel, breathe and feel. Don't think, just stay in this knowing and embrace the fact that yes, you're purging, no matter how uncomfortable, no matter how painful, whether it's physical purging or mental or emotional. Let yourself stay in the reminder that it's not real. It's not actually what's happening. Nothing is wrong. It's just these old ways, these old beliefs, these old stories, these old attachments, these old ways of not choosing yourself, not choosing your authenticity, not choosing from your truth and your feminine truth, not choosing from your depth. That is what this moon is about. So use this moon, use these next few weeks until we're starting eclipse season and the year of the fire horse on February 17th. So you've got time. Obviously, the purging is continue. Obviously, being in the feminine energy and being in this time that we're in, it's continuous growth, it's continuous shedding, it's continuous expansion. Yes, thankfully, but we're really in some deep waters right now. Let's put it that way. So wherever you're at, whatever you're feeling, let me know in the comments. Let me know where you're at, anything you want me to talk about. I want us to connect. I want to hear from you so I know what resonates and what you're still struggling with and what you want assistance with. So make sure you let me know in the comments so we can connect, because I want to meet you. Good. Now, from here, let's come back to you choosing yourself. And there are so many misconceptions about this. So choosing yourself obviously means that, yes, you have your standards, and choosing for yourself, of course, you know what you want and what you deserve. Yes, of course. But as much as we have our ways of living in this world, whether it's your lifestyle, whether it's how much money you need for self-care, whether it's you living in a certain way, those are the externals. Those are preferences. Those are maybe standards that you are having for yourself, sure. But that's not really what I'm talking about when I'm saying choosing yourself. Of course, you want to be the abundance, because as the divine now moving into the new earth, yes, you are abundance. You are love. You are abundance. You are health. You are all of this. Yes. But don't cling to it, because the second you cling to these external things that, oh, I have to have that, and this is definitely a non-negotiable for me in terms of whatever bank account or house or car, right? Not that the externals are bad, they're wonderful. Loves luxury, but you already are luxury. You already are abundance. So don't get caught up with the externals. That's ego. That's the illusion. Remember, it's an illusion. We have to now step out of the illusion. We have to now see it as what it is. It's an illusion. And that's what New Earth consciousness is. New Earth consciousness is authenticity. It is you knowing who you are. You are an eternal soul, having a temporary human experience, knowing that you are here to manifest and create. You are creation vibration. You are here to now create as the New Earth consciousness, your abundance, your luxury, your warmth, your love, your health, your joy. And this all comes about by you choosing yourself. No more overgiving, overdoing, playing games. No more living in these old ways of coping. No more of playing small. You choosing yourself. It is you choosing yourself in your truth. You choosing yourself in your authenticity. And that's what New Earth love and sacred union and divine union is about. You've got to choose yourself fully. Own your worth, own your truth, own yourself as the divine being that you really are. Not only is that going to bring your divine masculine, your counterpart, to you, it'll also keep you guys together. And it'll keep it hot and it'll keep it fun, right? So we'll dive into all of this. Let me start with an example. Relatively new client that came to me after leaving a husband of 30 years, where it was that typical miserable experience of her overdoing and taking care of him and making sure he's got everything because he's so moody and he's so selfish and he doesn't pay attention to her and he never spends time with her or the kid. And so it's just very, very, very unhealthy dynamic. Let's put it that way. She was very unhappy. She was unseen. She felt unloved in that relationship. So she had the strength and the wherewithal to choose herself and leave that relationship, which was great. Once she and I connected, and by the way, she's going to be the Valentine's Day weekend conversation. So I'm going to be here with you today and next week. And then for Valentine's Day, I want her to share her journey with you because she took to it like a fish to water. She was very much in that old patriarchy paradigm of overgiving. Because after she left this husband, she started dating and she would invite them over and cook dinner for them and drive them and be available for them. And right, because to her, this is her being loving, right? This is her being loving. And many women, many of us are still like that. And I was like that. I'm naturally a healer. I'm naturally a lover, right? So I had to learn and she had to learn. We all have to learn to stop doing that and to actually learn to choose ourselves and to stay in self and to stay in our own energy and to not overdo, overgive, because that's masculine energy. So we've been conditioned by the patriarchy to be in our masculine energy, to be of service to the man, to tend to the man, to make sure he's okay, to make sure he's happy, to tiptoe around him, oh, don't upset the man, don't say anything because he'll get angry, right? So that all, of course, was her experience. And once she and I met and I asked her, so how is all that going for you with the dating life? And she was like, oh, it's just awful. And I feel anxious all the time. And I just don't even know what they want. And sometimes they call and sometimes they don't. And then yes, and then no. And so I was like, okay, good. You said enough. Let's focus on the feminine energy. And the second we spoke about feminine energy, she got very nervous. She's like, I don't want to be submissive. I've been submissive. I've had not myself my entire life. I don't want to be submissive any longer. And I'm like, no, you choosing yourself and you being in your feminine energy has nothing to do with you being submissive. It's a false perception. You choosing yourself and you being in your feminine energy, I said to her, is you allowing yourself to be in the receiving. You allowing yourself to be in the receiving shifts your vibration. When you shift your vibration, you are going to call in a masculine man, a counterpart, right? Whatever it is for the individual. And so for her, it was still a little hard to understand. She was like, what do you mean? What do I have to do? And I said, well, nothing. That's the beautiful thing. You do nothing. And again, choosing yourself doesn't mean you don't love on him or her, whoever is in the masculine energy. It doesn't mean you're not there to be the home, the vibration, the love, right? This is the home. You provide presence of the divine. You are there to make the home a beautiful temple, right? You are there to be this divine feminine. And the key to that is you choosing yourself and to not overgive and overdo and tiptoe around and fix him and heal him and tend to him. That's his job. His job. The masculine is meant to give. The masculine is meant to make sure, how are you feeling? And of course, it's reciprocal. Of course, it's give and take. Of course, you're going to love and make sure he's happy and tend to each other's needs. But the foundational dynamic has to stay this way. And I will get to that as to why soon. But let's stay with this client. So she, you know, the concept of it is very hard to understand for the brain, for the masculine energy. So stay in your breath, stay in your feminine energy with it, because it comes very natural when you just allow yourself to let go. It comes very natural when you just let yourself explore it and be curious. Because the feminine energy is curiosity. The feminine energy is expansion. The feminine energy is growth and change. So just let yourself be in that experience. She's experiential. Don't get caught up with the details too much. Don't try to all logically lay it out. This is not a linear process. This is not masculine energy. This is feminine energy. This is flow. This is beingness. This is trusting yourself. This is learning this new way, this new language, this new way of being in a new earth, high timeline dynamic. So, long story short, she learned to be in her feminine. She learned to let the men ask her out, pick her up, pay for dinner, open the door. And she was like, oh my gosh, it's so nice. It's like she was all giddy, right? She was all like, this is like a huge new way of existing for her. And so as she was learning these ways, the ones that weren't equipped to show up for a feminine energy fell off really quickly, right? Another reason why you choosing yourself, you being in your feminine energy is so important. You'll sort through the ones that are not ready, the ones that are not equipped, the ones that are not healed, because when you stay in that choosing of yourself, in your feminine energy, and you listening to yourself, in your breath, in your worth, in your ownership of the divine vessel that you are, the ones that can't stay in that frequency, the ones that can't give to that frequency, and there are many, right? Don't be afraid. There are many. They will fall off. And so she is now in a relationship with a man that's actually 15 years her younger. And he's already moved her in. And he is such a man and so masculine, and he's taking care, and he's like, what can I do? And how are you feeling? And let me put some gas in your car, and, you know, making the plans. And she's now in this realization of, wow, such subtle but profound shifts has changed her life and her experience of herself completely. And the beautiful thing here is that I want to point out is that she noticed that, oh, it's not about submission. Being in her feminine energy and choosing herself has nothing to do with being submissive at all. She's now realizing this. Only now is she realizing this because she's in the experience of it. Again, it's not a mental concept. It's not a one step at a time, let me give you the plan or spreadsheet kind of a process. She had to move into it herself to recognize that, oh, wow, because she is so well in her feminine energy, he is asking her, how does that feel for you? Is that a good idea? Does that feel right to you? Right? He knows that her happiness is the compass for the relationship. He knows that her choosing herself and listening to herself and how it feels to her is everything, right? For her to be in this beautiful space of listening to herself and trusting herself, and him checking back with her to make sure that she is liking this plan or she likes this idea, right? This is the dynamic. This is the secret sauce. Because he, so in his masculine, knows that it's his job to make sure she's happy. So he knows to ask her, he knows to honor how she's feeling. And if something doesn't feel right or good, or it makes her feel anxious, she tells him. And then he adjusts the plan, or he adjusts himself, right? He is the one that fixes. The masculine is the one that fixes the things. All that the feminine has to do is, I don't know, it doesn't really feel so good. And then of course she's also learned to let him know when something feels great. She's now learned to say, thank you so much, you are making me so happy, right? She has learned to say, this is making me feel butterflies in my stomach, right? She's learned to speak from her feelings. She's learned to express herself. And in doing that, right, and her loving him and letting him know how amazing he is and how happy she feels and how safe she feels with him, because he keeps coming back to touch base, to check with her, right? Because that is what makes the woman feel safe. It's not about him having to fight a bear or a tiger or a wild horde of guys. Sure, violence against women is a very real thing. And if that was your experience, then of course my heart goes out to you. And then you definitely, of course, feel safer with a man to be protected, right? But for many of us, including myself, right, I've never had that experience where I'm actually afraid of life or the external, right? I have a very good sense for where I'm safe and where I'm not. Am I watching for that? Sure. I'm not reckless, but what I'm looking to say is that women are not really looking to be, protected and made feel safe because of external circumstances. And this is her big realization. This is her big aha with this, is that choosing herself and being in her feminine energy and really allowing for this wonderful dynamic to come into her life, she is recognizing that it's about being with him, feeling safe with him and how he is, in how he responds to things that she wants to talk about, in how he responds to her trusting her intuition. Does he honor it? In her having now learned to speak from her vulnerability and from her heart and from her feminine energy, in him loving it, in her choosing herself in the time that she needs for herself, and not falling into these old patterns of overgiving and overdoing for him. Of course she's there. Of course she's cooking and they're cooking together. And of course she's tending to the home, but it's a different experience. It's not her role. She does it because she wants to, she loves to, right? But she also has her life, and she has herself and her choices, and she stays her in her own energy. And the more that she stays in her own energy, and she's recognizing that he responds positively, he doesn't judge her. He isn't mean to her. He doesn't make fun of her feelings. He doesn't make fun of her intuition, right? He honors it. And this is what makes women feel safe. This is what makes her feel safe. This is where the nervous system can relax, because he's actually acknowledging her divinity. He's acknowledging her divine presence, her divine vibration that fills the home. He is acknowledging that he can rest in her light, and just by being in her arms, releases tension and adjusts and levels up in light frequency. So she doesn't have to pretend anymore. She doesn't have to do anything anymore that isn't natural to her. And because it's that beautiful fit, because she keeps choosing herself over and over and over. And if she doesn't feel like doing something, she doesn't do it. And if she, whatever she feels she needs, this is what she prioritizes. And he trusts that. And that is making her feel safe. That is relaxing her nervous system, because she's finally, for the first time in her life, being held by a man. He is the riverbed to her river. He is holding her in the way that she needs to flow, in the way that she needs to choose from her authenticity for herself. And this is making her relax. And it is what is soothing her nervous system. That is the safety. That is the safety. Is it wonderful to have a man with you when you're walking through a dark alley? Of course. Is it feeling safer when you're traveling with a man in a foreign country, and you know that it could be iffy if he wasn't there? Of course. But day to day, the safety that you as a woman are looking for is to feel safe with the way he is being with you, the way he's choosing to honor you, the way that he's choosing to trust you, the way that he's choosing to acknowledge your divine, the way that he's choosing to honor your guidance, your feeling, your intuition, the way that he knows it's real. That's what makes you feel safe as a woman, right? And so now, when you think of yourself, choosing yourself, right, you may have thoughts that are coming in. You may have doubts. You may have, oh, well, but no, just try it on. And it doesn't just mean the early stages of dating, right? You can also be in a relationship. You can already be in a marriage. I have clients that they're saying that, yes, just by them choosing themselves and being in their feminine energy and honoring themselves, they're noticing the changes, that he is actually more attentive, that he's actually honoring her more, and they're having more fun, and they're having more fire and more passion and more excitement, right? So for you to choose yourself is really that recipe for your long-term relationship, from the early stages of dating all the way into years and years and years and years to come. It'll keep it going. It'll keep it hot. It'll keep it exciting. And you choosing yourself in this way, because this is you owning yourself, owning your worth, owning your wisdom, owning your powers, owning your grace. this translates into every single relationship of your life, and it translates into work as well, right? So there is nothing submissive about you being in your feminine energy, about you letting yourself receive and owning that goddess that you are, feeling safe with a man, you being who you are, and him loving it. And biologically, and this is what also, right, keeps it going, but biologically, right? So men have the need, a masculine man, like when you're looking for a masculine, because you in your feminine, you want a masculine man, right? Primarily masculine. Of course, you want him to be soft. Of course, you want him to be vulnerable. Of course, you want him to feel. Yes, absolutely. That's a divine masculine. He's got to feel. But all in all, strong masculine, right? And so this masculine man has this biological need to reach, to step up. And because you are in your feminine, because you are always ascending, you're always expanding, you're not only the moral compass for the relationship, you are the highest timeline. You are the new earth portal. It is through you choosing yourself, being in your feminine energy, that you open up expansion for the two of you that otherwise would never be possible for him in that way alone, right? So masculines in their biology, they want to step up. They want the chase. They want to reach higher. That is what they strive to do. And by you choosing yourself, you are that for the man. And from here, you will always be that for him. And him always feeling like he has to step up to be with you. He has to keep leveling up to be with you. Keeps him in his dopamine. It keeps him in his excitement for you. It keeps him in his passion for you. It keeps him in his lust for you. It keeps him in his drive for you. And this is the way to maintain your relationship for decades, for the rest of your life. Versus when you are falling back into these old patterns of overgiving, overdoing, giving attitude, playing games, all of that is masculine energy, right? You trying to, change yourself to appease him, fixing him, whatever it is that you have done, those are all patriarchy, masculine energy ways of the woman serving the man. This will not work in the new earth. Furthermore, when you do that, remember you're in the masculine energy, whether you're playing, I don't care, playing games, or you're really caring, but you want to love and do and give, and right, masculine energy. When you're too much in your masculine energy and you're giving too much and you're doing too much, you kill the dynamic, because by you being in your masculine energy, you will push him into his feminine energy. By you doing so much for him and giving and tending to him all the time, he will stop producing dopamine, because you're now coming to his level. You're now being masculine energy, which will be an unhealthy dynamic, right? It's like the magnets both being on minus, right? It's like they can't touch, right? It's they reject each other. And not only is that going to be the magnets turning and rejecting each other by you being in your masculine energy and focusing on him and centering around him, he will stop producing the dopamine, he will stop chasing, he will start losing interest, he will not be so attentive anymore, he will get lazy, he will take you for granted, right? He will not pay attention to you anymore and focus on other things. And this is when, and again, it's not a conscious awareness, and this is why this is so important for you as the feminine to maintain. This is when relationships start having big problems because they can't connect the magnets, right? They're rejecting each other, they're pushing each other away. And when this continues, when this dynamic continues, it will break up the relationship, hands down. And so you see the value of you choosing yourself in every way, right? In every way. And so with this moon, with this full moon, and moving forward, you choosing yourself is you listening to yourself, you going deeper than the external. It is you trusting yourself. It is you choosing what is authentically going to make you happy. It is you choosing your lightness, your joy, your sense of flow. Always choose for that. Maybe you need to excuse yourself and go take a walk, or maybe you need to go be with the girls, or maybe you have to stay in meditation for a while, or go take a bath, right? It's not just a one thing. It's not a once a day thing. It is every day, all day. And this is why we bring in the breath. And this is why we stay in the inner connection and awareness. And this is why we're always in listening and in feeling how things make us feel, feeling how we are feeling about whatever it is in your life. This is your guidance. This is something that you need to learn as a new language to really integrate and stay connected to. And yeah, you're at work or you're busy and you're in your masculine energy, it's fine. But there comes a time when you can be in your masculine energy and still stay in your connection, because you're breathing, because you're still inner listening, you're still inner peace, you're still inner noticing when something is off, right? And this is how you now not only practice, but you begin to settle in this way of living. It's a lifestyle. It is, as much as you can, through the use of the breath, aware of your body, nice and grounded, nice and open, truthful, authentic, strong, clear, communicative. There's nothing submissive about your feminine energy and you choosing yourself, and it'll only benefit your love life, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your children, friends, family, the world, and of course, it's you birthing the new earth. Good. Thank you, my beautiful sister, for being here. And please do let me know in the comments, where are you at? How are you feeling? Where are you at on this journey? What is still challenging to you? Let me know so I can respond. And as always, from here, I am sending love and light blessings to you and yours. Hugs and kisses. Happy full moon. Ciao for now.